Good evening. Freshly back from Miami. Here I am on the Collective on WSME Enlightenment Radio. Good evening, everyone. So glad that you could join us today, this evening. In the studio, in the virtual studio with me, I have none other than Attika J. Torrence. Now, his name might not be so familiar to you, but if I tell you about his work, you'll know what he stands for. You'll know the quality of his work. So Attika, first of all, I'd like to thank you so much for lending your time to us this evening.
It's my pleasure, Michelle. Thank you.
Now, I can't hear you. Where's your sound?
I said it's my pleasure. Can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly now.
My pleasure, Michelle. Thank you very much.
So let's talk about, first of all, what you're wearing. We're going to talk about the book. I'm going to give a little background on that too, but let's talk about the hoodie, because that was something that caught my eye when we first met a few weeks back.
Well, this is let me see. There we go. Boom. So this is a boom, Torrence collection.
That's it.
The Torrence collection original. I started actually a clothing line off of the book, because I created merchandise. We were in a pandemic when I released my book, so I created what's called the quarantine book tour, and all of my interviews were on Zoom and Instagram and Facebook. So I created a t-shirt to wear for merchandise, just to promote the book, and people would inbox me and hit me and say they wanted to buy one of the shirts. So at the time, those were all marketing paraphernalia items with the cover of the book on it and a picture from the book. But I actually grew that beyond that and created this this logo right here. And we've been selling stuff. I have a line of jackets, some really nice varsity jackets, some leather and wool. We actually have leather and suede jackets. We have hoodies. We have shirts. We have caps. We have travel bags, suede duffel travel bags. You don't got to get no LV. You don't got to get none of that. The Torrence collection got it. And I get my site coming up this week because, nice. We have some issues with that. But my site will be up this week, thetorrancecollection.com.
Okay, so you know what my question is. You know what I asked you?
What?
Right? So when are we going to get the red and white?
Interesting. I have a lot of you red and white people in my family. So
I'm sure we've all been asking, right?
So interestingly enough, I have a burgundy and white, but I also created it was a request for one of my varsity jackets, the wool with the leather sleeves, to be red and white. So we have a red and white varsity jacket coming, that. So, we don't discriminate. We don't discriminate. We get all 9 of y'all.
So D9, listen up. Got some special stuff coming in your colors very soon.
Yes, indeed. But it's interesting because, real quick, I was speaking about colors. From doing that, I was just asked to provide some jackets for a school, which it has grown from me just doing merchandise for the book. It grew into this clothing line, and now I'm producing jackets for a specific school in Long Island. I don't want to put it out there yet, but the jackets are being made. The purchase order was sent in.
Nice.
The business is happening, but I want them to be able to make this announcement with this collaboration. So it's a huge deal to me.
It's a huge deal. Absolutely. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So I want my audience to formally know, and I should do my journalism thing right here, who you are. So let's do the introduction. Attika J. Torrence Attika J. Torrence. See, this is where I need to wear my glasses, but I refuse to. Is the author of Brooklyn Bred, a 90s Brooklyn story, from At the Top Publishing, which is his own publishing organization. He is Emmy nominated and a Television Academy Honors recipient for Rest in Power, the Trayvon Martin story. The executive producer was none other than Hove, Jay-Z, Sean Carter, and the parents of Trayvon, Sabrina Fulton and Tracy Martin. And he is also the idea man and the producer behind The Working Actor with Malik Yoba. That was produced as a live event and a television pilot as Malik Yoba, or The Working Actor with Malik Yoba Monologue Slam. He is also, as if he already doesn't do enough, a founding partner and producer of Brooklyn Fam, Film, Arts, and Media, with actor Jamie Hector. And that's a 3-day conference that takes place at the historic Billie Holiday Theater in the heart of Bed-Stuy. And shout out to Miss Tony Brabham, who ran Billie Holiday Theater for many, many, many years. Her daughter is not only a soror, but a very good friend of mine. So with that, in addition, you had a part to play in the Khalif Browder story.
I did.
So you're a man of many trades.
I'm working.
But I noticed in an article with the Brooklyn Reader, better known as the BK Reader, you said you don't like to be defined by a title. And I'm paraphrasing a little bit because it's not one thing that you do. So how would you describe yourself?
I'm a black man. that's what I am. And, you know, we juggle for a living. We juggle to stay alive, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what it is. I mean, you know, it's interesting. This industry, any industry, for the most part, want to define you by who you are. But for the most part, you know, if you don't tell them who you are, then you allow them to define you. There are some people that only know me as an author. There are some people who only know me as a clothing designer. There are some people who only know me as my daughter's father. You know, like whether it's her teachers or her friends, they only know me as a father. That, you know, so the reality is I'm all of that. You know, I'm a father, I'm a son, I'm a husband. I make movies, I produce major events. You know, I take long walks at the park, I drink water. You know, it's like, you know, we all, you know, we all do it all. I mean, at times people will say stuff like, you know, well, he was a rapper, why is he acting now? It's all storytelling. It's all part of the arts. And many people really didn't set out and design their life with one straight line, one beginning to an end. You know, we take different turns, and I follow the stream sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
I don't fight it.
And that seems to be the case because initially you said you wanted to be an actor.
That's how I got into the film business. Not entertainment, but into film.
Into film, right.
Yes. Yes.
You wanted to be an actor, and then you weren't necessarily satisfied with the parts, or people weren't necessarily taking you seriously. So you figured, okay, maybe I need to do a little bit more, be involved a little bit more, and went into film, behind the camera.
Right. Well, I didn't, you know, I had a pretty rapid, I'm not going to say rise, but my career was pretty good as an actor. I had a couple of really decent movies out there.
Name your movies.
Pardon?
Name your movies.
Well, the first the first movie that I was cast in that I felt like I had arrived was a movie called Coalition. It's a movie shot in Brooklyn. I played the brother of Raekwon the chef from Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
Also, Power from Wu-Tang was in it. A lot of people in it. Michael Wright was in it from 5 Heartbeats. Rest in peace. O.L. Duke was in it. Anthony Chisholm. Rest in peace. Frank Vincent was in it. Chuck Zito. It was a pretty good movie. And I played one of the I played Raekwon's brother, and that was a really good project. But I did a whole lot of independent projects. You know, I did several. And I even created my own. That wasn't my issue. The thing was, I realized early on that the amount of time and energy and resources it takes to be an actor is the same amount of time and energy and resources it takes to be a producer and a director. So that's how I feel. And the interesting thing about it is I think you have a lot more say as a producer than you do as an actor. And that's the case sometimes, you know, but sometimes it's not. The world we live in now is so celebrity driven that actors get to dictate their own road, their own path, their own journey, you know. So it, like, take for instance someone like a Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan can produce and direct whatever he wants for the most part, right? Or someone like Will Smith. Will Smith wants to make a movie, it gets made. So depending on what level you are as an actor, you get to write your own ticket. But it's not like that for everybody. There's not a lot of Michael B. Jordans and Will Smiths out there. But there are a lot of people auditioning every day, a lot of people doing their best to grow. And as an actor, we realize that we got to write our own monologue sometimes. We have to write our own scenes sometimes so we can get them shot and developed the way we want it done. So, or sometimes directors don't always know what they want until they see it from an actor. So actors oftentimes transition. It's a natural transition to go into writing and directing the same way athletes go into coaching.
So how long did it take you to really learn the craft and get behind the camera and be a director or producer?
Well, the craft is never learned. You're always learning the craft. The craft is an ever-moving river.
Is that because there's change in technology and how things are done, and people using iPhones, the way the content is,
primarily because there's always change in you.
Okay.
That's why you're always learning your craft. There's always change in you. That's almost like saying, you're a complete human being right now. No, you're not complete. Tomorrow you'll be different. You know, it's like, and it's the same with art. You know, you'll never be a complete artist. You know, you may be good at what you do, but as a man, you know, I'm not done. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what tomorrow holds. You know, there are always degrees and steps that you can take. And so you never learn it all. But as an actor, I knew I wanted to become like, I realized early when I went to film school that I wasn't going to, I told myself I wasn't going to get into anybody's movie because I didn't have any credits. I was a student. So I said, I need to learn how to direct so I can direct myself and put myself in a movie. And then when I was taking my courses as a director, I said, you know what? Nobody's going to hire me to direct because I don't have any credits. So I need to learn how to write. So I was taking my filmmaking courses. And then when I graduated from college, I wrote, directed, and acted in my first film. It's called Brotherly Love. It's starring, at the time, some of the top underground comedians. A lot of them have received mainstream success today. But it was like 13 of New York's top underground comedians. And
can you name a couple?
Yeah, like, well, shucks. A comedian named Talent paid my brother. Will Sylvance was in it. Donnell Rollins, who plays Ashley Larry on Dave Chappelle. Todd Lynn, who was on My Wife and Kids, I think, with Damon Wayans. He's passed away, unfortunately. John Smooth, Rob Stapleton, Drew Frazier, Roberto Vanderpool.
Wow.
Sink, Jay. Shucks, I know
heavy hitters.
Yeah, I know I'm forgetting some folks. You know, and I have an interesting story. Kevin Hart was supposed to be in that movie.
Really?
Yes, Kevin Hart was supposed to be in that movie. And then he called me one day and he said, you know, my agent called. I know I said I'm going to be in the movie, but my agent said he has a great deal for me out in LA. But I told you I'd be in this movie, so I don't want to let you down. You know, I want to figure out how to work it out. See, in my ignorance, I didn't know how to make a movie. Damn, I'm a little bit ashy right here, right? But
ain't nobody looking at your ash.
But you know, But so what happened is I said, yo, I appreciate you coming to me, because he didn't even have to come to me. He
Right.
didn't have to come to me, but
Right.
he did. And I was like, yo, if you got an opportunity, go for it. But see, my ignorance as a filmmaker back then didn't know that I don't need him for the whole job. All I need him to do
Right.
is shoot him for the days that I need him. And what we call shoot him out. I could have shot him out, but I didn't know that. So I wound up replacing Kevin Hart. He wound up getting the Kevin Hart show, I think that was, with him and Faison. And then after that, shortly after that, he did Soul Plane. And then after that, it was just nonstop. He's Kevin Hart now. And it was like, damn, I could have had him in my film.
Even if it was for 1 hour.
Even like his role wasn't that big, I could have had him for 2 days, 3 days, and got him out of there. My man, Talent, a very good friend of mine, comedian. He's the one. Once I signed him onto the project, he brought a lot of his friends on. And Kevin Hart was an up and coming comic in New York City from Philly, trying to make his way.
Wow, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So once you created that first film, did you know what direction you wanted to go in? Or was it like a free-for-all? Any ideas that would come to you, any suggestions that someone else would give, you'd consider, as opposed to saying, no, I'm only doing this type, or I only want this content?
Well, when I made the first film, I knew I wanted to make movies. My second film is completely different than my first. My first one is a comedy called Brotherly Love. My second one is a short film. It's a thriller. I'm a killer. My third film is a vampire movie.
Wow.
I don't have, like, again, I'm all people. Like, I am all, depending on what day you meet me, I'm all of those people. Sometimes I want to kill somebody, could be in line at the post office or the bank or something. I don't do it. I don't do it. I go home and write a story about it. Right. I change my name and I make it a slasher film and I write a story about it.
You base your character on your anger?
Hey, it's what we do. That's how I get it out. I go and write. I'm a writer. So I see something funny, I go home and write something. I see a romantic couple in the park, walking, holding hands. They look young, they look nice. I go home and write about it.
But are you more of a writer, or are you a storyteller? Are you a person who deals with narrative?
I'm a storyteller, but the reality is, I'm not more of one. Like, I'm not more of a brother than I am a son. I'm not more of a father than I am a husband. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm equally
all those things.
I'm all of those things. Like, like, I can walk in a room and there could be 5 women in that room. It could be my daughter, my mother, my wife, my sister, and my niece. And I am a different person to each one of those women. And I can say what's up to each one of them differently.
Well, I think that's a child parent talent, because people used to tell me the same thing. The way that you speak to your mom is not the person I know outside of that. And I'm like, yeah. And the way that I speak to my friends is not the same way I speak to my daughter. So, yeah.
Right. And as an artist,
I think we all have that.
Right. We all do. That's what I'm saying. So as an artist, why should we, individualize it? Why should I say I'm just an actor? No, I'm a director. I'm a writer. I'm an actor. I'm a producer. I do narratives. I do documentaries. I do commercials. I do branded content. I don't put myself in a box. I mean, if we
compartmentalizing.
Yeah, like, I mean, I can focus when I have to do something.
Yeah.
Like right now, like I'm working on some projects. I can focus where I'm not the lead on the project, right? I'm helping other people on there. I can play my position. I'm not always trying to jump ahead and lead your project.
Right.
I know when I'm the producer. I know when I'm the director. I know when I'm the actor. I know when I'm just the writer. So, that right there is the challenge, playing your position.
Well, is it, like you said, it's being focused, but is it knowing more about your position than just being in it, being in that role?
Yes, and it's being able to, to adjust when necessary. It's the same thing. Like, and if we use the previous example I gave, I can't talk to my wife the way I talk to my daughter.
Right.
I can't talk to my mother the way I talk to my wife. Like we are by nature many different characters. By nature. Why change that by career? When I don't have to. If I have to, let's just say I was a token booth clerk. All I'm gonna be is a token booth clerk. But I'm not a token booth clerk, and I chose not to be a token booth clerk. I chose to be an artist, and this is how I express myself. Whether it's clothes, films, whatever it is, that's what it is.
And you have a project coming up you're still working on, my understanding?
Yes, I have a project in post-production that we shot during the pandemic.
How was that? And you got 3 minutes. I'll give you.
So in March 2020, we was going in pre-production. We was going in development of a film that we were supposed to shoot in May. Pandemic came, had to shut it down. I said we'll give it 2 months and we'll go back. So July came, we couldn't go. So I said we'll give it 2 more months. September came, we couldn't go. I said maybe next month. October came, we couldn't go. I had to write another screenplay. I wrote another screenplay with less people, and we can shoot in 1 or 2 locations. So I wrote that in like November. I was developing it for a while. I was able to cast it, get some really, really good people, crew it up, and we shot it in May and June of 2021. So now it's in post-production now. It's called Sins of the Father, and it's a dramatic thriller. Yeah.
You got a thing for thrillers, don't you?
No, I got a thing for everything. The reason why I was a thriller, like I love comedies. I love my first film was a comedy. I have on YouTube. I have a comedy skit that I did. I just thought about it and I did it. It's called "Give Yourself a Round of Applause." You know, and it's just a skit that I thought about spoofing comedians, people who spoof people every time, which are comedians.
I think I did see that.
Yeah,
I did see it.
But the thing about a thriller is I was cooped up in a pandemic, sheltering in place. And I watched all these movies. And the thing about a thriller, all you need is 1 location, 8 people, and a cop. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's all you need. And you might not even need 8 people. All you need is 1 location, some people, and the cop that rings the bell. Is everything okay? And you either let them go or you kill them. Or you let them go and then they come back and then you
come back.
Right? And then you kill them. Right? So that all thrillers are the same. But
honestly, you never thought about it that way.
All you need is 1 location and a few actors, few characters. Or thrillers are the same, or sitcoms are the same. It's like, so thrillers are easier to make. You can even make them with cheap blood and they don't even have to look real.
Right. That I know. I know that from
I didn't make mine like that. I'm just saying. Not at all.
Attika J. Torrence is with us. He is a filmmaker, screenwriter, producer, and clothing designer. And he has a book called Brooklyn Bred, a 90s Brooklyn story. We're going to come back after the break. We're going to talk about, thank you. I was going to say, where's the book? But thank you. We're going to talk about the pricing of the book because some people are like, we're also going to talk about you having some formative years outside of the country. And we're also going to talk about the fam and how that came to be. All right?
Yep.
My people, you are watching live The Collective here on WSME Enlightenment Radio, where positivity is absolutely everything. We'll be back after this. Thank you so much for remaining with The Collective here on WSME Enlightenment Radio. My name is Michelle Turner, and on the show today, I have, and I'm very fortunate to have, author, screenwriter, filmmaker, producer, Attika J. Torrence. For some strange reason, my mouth is just not forming it today. I don't know what's going on.
It's Miami, all that sun.
All that sun and beach. Welcome to Miami. Was nice. Was definitely nice. Something that I want to continue to do is to go to Art Basel, because it was just amazing. And it was one of those things where I really forgot about the show. I forgot about the other job that I do. I forgot about me being in media. I really went somewhere else with this. And I want to thank my friend Cheryl Gomes for talking me into going. It was a much needed break for me. And it gave me fresh perspective on a lot of different things. So I do appreciate it. And hopefully next year, we'll see you down there. We'll run into you in the exhibit hall somewhere.
I'll see. Have you ever been to the American Black Film Festival?
I have not. And I also have not been. And I love movies and I love film. And right now I am doing a certificate in film and TV. And I love movies and I love film festivals. As much as I have been to Martha's Vineyard for a vacation, I have yet to go to the film festival there. But I do. I love film. I love art. And I just feel the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing is because there are stories that need to be told in my hometown that have yet to be told. And I feel like, and you, I know, can identify with this. I don't think it can be told from any other perspective but an African-American perspective, because it deals with historic neighborhoods and the stories in those neighborhoods and the history of those neighborhoods. You know, New Haven has a very wide and deep African-American history. We are the place that possibly would have been the first in the United States to have an HBCU. But our town fathers decided they didn't want no Negroes in numbers here. But that was early as 1823.
There's stories where in HBCUs, entire schools had to leave the city.
Yep.
I think Florida Memorial, if I'm not mistaken, Florida Memorial University, Florida Memorial had to leave a city and go further
south. Out. Yep. Yeah. Yep. So, I mean, we've got, you know, all kinds of stories. The African-American woman who invented the curve in the ironing board escaped north and landed here and did all her work here and got her copyright here. That's what's up. So there's a lot of stories that need to be told that are not getting told. And I just feel it's time. It's time for that to happen.
Ain't nothing to it but to do it.
Hey, I can't wait to get this certification. I'm excited. But anyway, we want to talk about you. So born in Bed-Stuy, born in Brooklyn, but then from 10 to about what, 16? Your family moved to Liberia.
Yeah, so I'm from Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. We lived in Brooklyn when I was born. I was actually born in Manhattan, but that was just for the delivery. Yeah,
all intents and purposes, right?
I came home to Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. And when I was 10 years old, my family moved to Liberia, West Africa. And I was there until I was 16. The way it worked is when you graduate from high school, you leave Liberia and come to the States for college. So my older sister graduated before me. She came to college. Then I graduated. Then I came to college. And the best part about it is when you go to the States for college and you come back for vacation for Christmas break, it's nothing but a big old party. So
yeah.
And then again, you that cool person because first you're in college, what I'm saying? So and then you're in college in the States, you coming back for vacation. So it was cool. But I had a great childhood. My parents did a magnificent job with my siblings and I with raising us in Liberia. And unfortunately they had a war that broke out that got really, really serious in 1990. And, my whole family had to evacuate, came back to the States, came back to Bed-Stuy, and we continued our lives here. But
was that a big adjustment for you?
Yeah, it was always a big adjustment. It was a big adjustment leaving because, believe it or not, at 10 years old, I just got my feet planted. I was grounded at 10 years old. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew who I wanted to do it with. Yeah. I had just been able to walk around the corner by myself. Go to the park by myself and hang out. But yeah, and then I picked up and left. And I went from an extended family, like a huge extended family here at Bed-Stuy, cousins, relatives, and non-relatives, but a huge extended family to a nucleic family, just our unit, and then we had to learn, the lay of the land. We had to learn everything, a new, not necessarily a new language, but a new vernacular.
Yeah.
A new colloquialism, and how to maneuver. And that's just not verbal language. That's body language. That's just learning the lay of the land, just learning where to go and not to go. And so I took a while to figure that out. And then as soon as I got comfortable there, I left there and came to the States to college. You know what I'm saying? But I also recognize that that's just par for the course.
Yeah.
As soon as you think you got your grounding in something, you have to move on.
But that's life too, right?
Exactly.
That's life too.
That's the whole saying, you can't have your cake and eat it at the same time.
Right. So rest in peace, rest in power. The Trayvon Martin story was shown at Tribeca. When you did that, did you say there needs to be something more for people of color, or were you already moving in that direction? And that's how FAM came to be.
When we did what?
Rest in Power, when it was shown.
Well, it was, so Rest in Power premiered at Tribeca Film Festival. We also did a premiere at the American Black Film Festival.
Okay.
As well as the Apollo Theater. So I pitched the Apollo Theater to them, and I pitched the American Black Film Festival to them. I know, the founder of the American Black Film Festival, and I know the executive producer at the Apollo. So when they did Tribeca, I'm like, yeah, but what about Black folk? I was the one in the room always saying, but what about Black folk? So we did it at ABFF and we did it at the Apollo. But BK FAM, the Brooklyn Film Arts and Media Conference, that's a twisted story of how it came about. I was always doing events in the film space. I was doing I was producing movie premieres, premiere screenings, and I got everybody was doing movie premieres and premiere screenings. So I created the Monologue Slam in New York, and and then I found out after creating that, I was like, wow, there was one Monologue Slam in New York before me. I never heard of it before. Yeah, I only heard of poetry slams, but there was one monologue slam before me. I never heard about them. We did our own, and then I started hearing about it. But so yeah, I was doing events and stuff, and there was a gentleman that kept asking me to do a film festival in Bed-Stuy, and I kept saying I didn't want to do it. He asked me for like 2 or 3 years, and I told him I didn't want to do it because I stopped doing events because as much as you can do many different things, at some point you have to focus.
Right.
I stopped doing events because I realized I was doing more events than I was making movies.
Okay.
I was talking about filmmaking, but I wasn't making films, you know, so I stopped doing events. I created an organization called IFNY, Independent Film New York. So I stopped doing the IFNY movie screenings. I stopped doing the IFNY premiere parties or the rap parties and all of the things that I was doing because I said, now I'm becoming an event promoter and an event producer instead of a filmmaker. So I stopped to get back to filmmaking. And his brother, Joe Grant, who was the ambassador of arts and culture for Bed-Stuy and Crown Heights under City Council member Robert Cornegie, they kept asking me to do this film festival. And I kept saying, no, I don't want to do it. And one time he came to me and I was just like, all right, I'll do it. So we did it just to get it done. But it was a hit. It was a hit. And then we did it the following year. And I'm not a fan of just doing a film festival because in my mind, that's a bit outdated, you know. And then the other thing is, if you don't already have your hooks in the filmmaking industry, I mean, the film festival industry, which is different from the filmmaking industry, then it's tough to get your feet. It's tough to jump in because the main thing that people want when they go to a film festival, they want publicity, they want the distribution, and they want connections.
Talk a little bit about distribution because I don't think, be it music, be it shows, be it content, I don't think people fully understand how important that is. It's bigger than PR because it gives you more rights. And I've been trying to learn about that for about 10 years because it was not only was it mystifying, but then, you know, you have the phenomenon of Lucy, right? The Lucy show. How the Lucy show has been playing in syndication almost since the time it started. So who gets that money? Who handles the distribution? That's always been my question. So in that kind of situation, how does it happen?
See, I believe, because I'm not a business person first, I'm an artist first. Right. So I believe it all starts with the art. I believe you make good work. Lucy is an amazing show with amazing talent. Lucy, I Love Lucy is amazing, right?
For a lot of reasons.
Yes. Now, that being said, there are some people that can sell anything and we see anything, but I'm not one of those people, you know, so I don't know the side of distribution that just say, you know, make it and we sell it, right? So
right. But I was using that as an example, but can you talk about it in the context of a film festival?
Right. So that's what I'm talking about. So but then there are some shows that are amazing, or there are some films that are amazing that don't get the distribution. I haven't locked in the distribution game, and I think the distribution business is a nut that I haven't cracked yet, to be honest with you. I've gotten distribution for my projects, but I've started with the project. You know, I don't have the answer for that. I wish I did. The key is to keep working, and distributors got their ear to the ground too. Distributors got their ear to the ground too. Distributors want to know what's popping. Align yourself with, you know what? Here's the answer to that. You reach out, don't always reach up. Because when you're up, people are looking down. Literally, people are looking down at you when you keep looking up. And they don't always want to, it's more energy to pull you up than it is to just, if you reach
Reach
out.
out.
So work with the people that are next to you, because these people are not always going to be on the same level, and neither will you. Some of my friends like are the leaders in the world in what they do. Literally, I'm not making that up. I'm not here to name drop, but some of them are out there. You're seeing them, you're watching them. You know what I'm saying? On TV, in films, they're behind the camera directing. So maintain your relationships and create great work. Stay consistent. That's what it is. They hearing about you. They hearing about you. And then your time will come.
Yeah.
Just stay consistent.
Yeah.
Because this industry and many others are designed to it's survival of the fittest.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. And like you say, it's about the change and the growth, right? Because if you don't change, you're stuck. Just like life, if you don't change, you're stuck.
And then you become that person when everybody continue to go by you. You become that cool person that they'll look at you and wave and be like, yo, yeah, he made a movie a long time ago. What are you doing now? I don't know.
I don't know what they're doing now. Yeah.
But and then life happens. I can't say, like, people don't just stop with their passion because they want to, but life happens. People get beat down in this business. People literally get beat down. I know some people who have lost homes. I know some people who have lost relationships. I know some people who have put children on hold, and now they're in their 40s and looking at alternative methods to have to. This industry will beat you down. Yeah. And so sometimes when people don't make it, it ain't because they didn't have the talent. It ain't because they wasn't good. Some people just couldn't take the beat down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. Life will throw you some lemons, and everybody can't make lemonade. Some people get hit in the face with the lemon. It's just that simple. So, I applaud everybody who's going after it. Everybody who's going after it. It's not easy.
So let's talk about the book. What drove you? Brooklyn Bred, a 90s story. What drove you to say, I need to put it down on paper?
So, just so you know, this is the special limited edition version.
Is that the $100?
Yes, this is the one we sold for $100. This is the paperback. But I would see another thing. I was writing a pilot. I was writing a TV pilot because I saw a lot of TV shows. We live in a genre-based system. So right now, the genre that was popping that I kept seeing was Snowfall, Empire, Power,
right.
Power Book 1, Power Book 2, Power Book 10, Power. 50 Cent going to be like John Rambo. And I'm not mad at him. You know what I'm saying?
At all. No.
I'm not mad at him, but he going to be like, First Blood, But the reality is, I saw the genre and I kept saying, it's something missing. It's something missing. And I knew what was missing. It ain't a Brooklyn story. So I was writing a pilot. Because I believe Brooklyn is a heartbeat of New York City. New York City is the heartbeat of America. America is the heartbeat of the world, as it relates to mainstream.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
As it relates to mainstream, because we know what birthed the entire universe, right? What birthed civilization. But I'm talking about mainstream show business, right? So I was writing a pilot, and then as I was writing it, I was like, yo, I need to switch gears. And I turned it into a novel because I always wanted to write a novel. I always wanted to be a novelist. And I also felt like if I write another screenplay and it doesn't get picked up, it's like the tree that fell in the forest. Like nobody did even make a sound, right? But again, remember when I said it takes the same amount of drive and work to become a producer as it does an actor? It takes the same amount of work to write a book as it does a screenplay. The only difference is if your screenplay doesn't get produced, it's like it never happened. And most screenplays don't become books after their movies. Most of them.
Right.
However, if you write a book even if it doesn't get picked up as a movie, you have a book and you've sold it, you know, and you can then turn it into a screenplay if you do the right numbers and the right person gets to read it. So it was just a business decision for me to turn it into a book. And when I did, I created this lovely, you know, special limited edition. That's one. And then, you know, that's the front. We had certificates of authenticity we sold with it. You know, it was a little card, you know, because each book is numbered. And I sold 500 copies for $100.
Now that looks like it's autographed.
So this actually was a gift to me. A friend of mine bought the book, got a lot of my friends to sign it for me.
Nice.
And sent it back to me. Nice. This is one of the best gifts I've ever received in my life. He got a bunch of my friends, and if I read all of these names, these are people that I came up with in the film industry. And I didn't even know he was doing it. He bought one for himself. Then he bought another book and said, you know what? Don't sign it because I'm not sure who I'm going to give it to yet. But he had a plan.
But he had a plan when he bought it, right?
This is number 450 out of 500. Wow. So he had a plan. And he bought my book from me, got a bunch of my friends to sign it, and gave it back to me as a gift.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So tell us about the content. What's the story about?
Well, it's loosely based on my life with a lot of embellishments. You know, so it's pseudo autobiographical. But I went to college in 88 and I dropped out in 92. Then I went back in 96 and graduated, right? So it's about the time I left in 92 to the time I went back in 96. And all of what occurred in that 4-year span.
And that little dash, right?
Yeah, it's a very, I consider it the Pac-Man years. You playing Pac-Man and you see Pac-Man on the board.
Right.
He goes off the board. You don't have any idea what happened, where he went. All you know is he comes back. Those 4 years are my Pac-Man years. I just went off the board.
It's a good way to describe it.
Yeah. So,
how many pages?
It depends. So this book, you know, these pages are different. They're bigger. The font is bigger, you know, because this is a special, this is like a coffee table novel.
Okay.
Right. And this book is the paperback. This is the one that's selling in the New York State and New York City Board of Ed.
But you started selling it out of your car.
Oh yeah. Like I've been, this is what we do. You know, we hustle, we get it popping. You know, so I sold the special limited edition books all myself. At each one of them, I have a signature on it. You know, I packaged them. I took them to the post office, or I hand delivered them wherever I had to hand deliver them. If I could, I've hand delivered them to Mount Vernon. I've hand delivered them to the Bronx, Manhattan, Harlem, Long Island, and I'm a Brooklyn dude, so all over Brooklyn, you know, and that was during the pandemic.
Yeah.
That was during the pandemic. Yeah, I thought, see, I know quite a few people, so I thought when I did it that summer, I would sell out because we have some pretty big events in Brooklyn. We have the International African Arts Festival. We have, the year typically starts with Dance Africa. I typically sometimes throw a birthday party. That's pretty big. You know, we have different events at Restoration. We have block parties. I could have put these books in a bag or a shopping cart and walked through Brooklyn and sold them in one summer. Seriously, I'm dead serious. But insert pandemic, shift your mindset. So I had to really get on social media and text messages and stuff, and just, I didn't push people to purchase. I just let them know I had it. And what happened is people started buying this version and they would post it online. And after they posted it a few times, I said, yo, I need to be posting it because they're posting it and people are hitting me up like, I want one. So people would read it and say, "Oh my God, Attica, this book is so good. This book is amazing." So I thought, okay, my friends love it, which is great. But the real litmus test is when the Board of Ed said they would sell the book to their
Wow.
to their MBK, My Brother's Keeper program, and it's been mandatory reading for the New York State chapter MBK for 2 years straight.
Amazing.
Yeah, and how that came about is a story unto itself. But you know, I'm just out here working, Michelle.
I like the way you say that. I'm just out here working. And I've got a clothing line and I'm screenwriting and I got a film in post-production and I got a limited edition book and I got a paperback and I'm setting up the next film festival. By the way, are you having the film festival next year?
It depends. I'm trying to see what this
yeah
Omicron is going to do. Like, we haven't had it in 2 years. We've done events. We've done smaller events in place of the BK Fam conference. But you know, I'm trying to see what's popping because of this this variant.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to not do it for 2 years.
Yeah. Have you considered doing it virtually?
Nah, I'm not doing that.
Why?
Because honestly, I just don't like it. Like, I'm enjoying sitting and speaking with you. It's almost like a phone call, but I can see you.
Right.
But
right.
like, to do an event, I'm not a fan of it. I've been asked several times, but I'm not a fan of it. Okay. I'm not a fan of it. Like, at some, like, that's one of them things. Like, I feel like if I got to do it virtually, then I might just let it go.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I'm not interested in doing it virtually. I'm not interested in having a virtual birthday party. I'm not interested in virtually
in virtual.
Nah, like
not for those things.
No,
right?
Like, not for, see, those things are social for a reason, right? I can do the informal. I mean, I can do the formal socialization, whether it's a meeting or something like that. I can watch a webinar. I don't know those people. I don't care to know them. I just have to get from it what I will, even if in a professional meeting. Like, let's just do the meeting. But some of these events are designed to be social for a reason, and if they can't serve that purpose, then it's, to me, it's not the same. Like, I have no interest in that.
So tell me how we can get the book. We got 2 minutes. How can we get the book?
Publishing. I started a publishing company. It's called AtTheTopPublishing.com. It's spelled just like it's spelled the way it's spelled. No tricks, no underscores. AtTheTopPublishing. AtTheTopPublishing.com. Yeah. Okay. And it's also on my website, AtticaJTorrence.com. There's a tab at the top publishing. So I'm everywhere. I'm Attica J. Torrence. I ain't hiding from nobody. I ain't running from nobody.
So can we go there and purchase the clothing as well, or
the website will be up this week with that. I've been having some challenges with that.
Yeah, you did say that.
Very soon, please just keep in touch. We're working the kinks out. When I get off of this call, I have to go finish up some web stuff, basically putting descriptions on the items that we're selling. And we got some lovely things coming. We got some love. Like, I'm not trying to play in the same pool with everybody with like t-shirts and certain, like, I'm not staying with the sweaters and sweatpants. I like that, and we're gonna keep that, but we're also gonna grow. We're growing. I got these lovely backpacks, these leather backpacks, and these suede duffel bags with this suede jackets and leather. Like we doing different stuff.
And some red and white.
I got you. I got you. We gonna make that happen. I'm telling you, I got a red and white jacket coming already.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
All right. Though somebody put that order in. I said I'm gonna give it a shot, but I'm gonna take a picture. And I know all my Delta friends, family, they're gonna want one. And once they want one, the Zetas are coming. then the Sigma Gamma Rho's are coming, and then the AKAs are coming, and like we gonna make it pop. Like we gonna make it pop.
Make it happen. You gotta make it happen.
Yeah.
Attika J. Torrence, author, screenwriter, filmmaker, producer. Thank you so much for lending your time to the collective. Appreciate you, good brother. Thank you so much for being here. It is my honor and my pleasure to have you in my space. And when that new movie comes out, I look forward to having you back.
I'm looking forward to being back. Thank you very much for having me, Michelle.
Thank you. And this has been The Collective right here on WSME DB. Positivity is everything. Thanks, Doc. That's my producer.